Hi, today I'm going to be looking at the case of baby Sabrina Eisenberg from the year 1997. Some of you might remember this case. I'm going to see here if I can just draw up a picture of her on screen, just in case you might remember. The picture might jog your memory more uh, than otherwise. This is baby Sabrina Eisenberg, as you might have remembered her in 97. She went missing out of her crib um, uh, late, well, they're really not sure, but November 23rd, November 24th, 1997. And there was such a big thing toward the parents. And there was unfortunately some attempts to smear them by the law enforcement who did a horrible job of trying to tape them, their conversations. They bugged their house, but it was so bad you couldn't make out what was really being said very well. And they had, I think it is a couple other children, besides baby Sabrina. So basically, the story is that she went to check on the child. She woke up. She saw that the garage door was open, and this made her want to check on the kids. The door to the garage was open, sorry. And when she went in Sabrina's room, she was gone, and her blanket was gone. So then they contacted the police, and like I said, the police just stayed on the parents. Really didn't seem to be interested in looking outside of them as a possibility. A really not good job where law enforcement was concerned, unfortunately, especially those tapes that they did. Um, it was really hard to tell what they were saying. And they were not, the, the tapes were so poor, they are not trustworthy. So anyhow, I'm going to be taking a look and see what I can get here. And I've got my a new crime deck here with me, see if it's going to work out or not. Some of these specialized decks just don't always, you know, work out. And then other times they do. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try. All right. Red mark there. Itchy. Okay. So who is responsible for baby Sabrina Eisenberg, who she was born, I believe, June 27th, 1997, and she was disappeared in November 23 or 24th. Who is responsible for her disappearance? Baby Sabrina Eisenberg. Who is really responsible for her disappearance and anything else that may have happened to her? Who is responsible? I'm getting the Magician and the Two of Swords. So this is about someone that was hesitant about taking action and doing something. But ultimately, they did do something. They chose to take her. But this shows also being just at a crossroads. It could have been that they were at a very difficult point in their life and felt like they had to do this. Like they were maybe one of those people that said they'd had a child. That really, it's that kind of energy there. Let's see if it continues to track like that. We get Temperance, and we get the 10 of of Wands, somebody was really highly pressured to come up with a baby. I feel like with the Temperance card, I think someone had not been completely truthful and was now in a very harsh, frustrating, overwhelming energy that's an extreme because we get Temperance. So they must have really come up with some sort of a lie. But the thing is it was so widely reported. I mean, I know we're not talking about somebody that's using all of their senses, but I'm seeing somebody choosing to do this that is at the very least, these things, maybe hesitant to do this, is at a crossroads where they've got to come up with something and they're very stressed. And there's an extreme here. So Temperance is kicking in. So they're trying to fix something by getting this baby. I see an individual. This person may come from wealth, or usually that's the, nine of Pentacles is like usually symbolic of independence and independent money, doing well for yourself. There's also a team of people. I feel like maybe this is also trafficking, selling to wealthy individuals that want children. And there's a team that's involved here. It can, there's a feeling with this that a lot of money can be made and that there's a couple more than one person involved in this. The stress to get a child may have been part of the team that was setting, like, networking to do this. So I have to say, I think it's more about trafficking and earning money and feeling desperate to get a child, feeling under the strain to do that, feeling emotionally overwhelmed, like they've got to make up for this. Maybe they had agreed to do this and time was running out. Well, here's the Page of Pentacles. I think these are children, and I also think because the child is holding a pentacle, there's money involved. I'm not getting anything about death right now, but I'm getting more. What I would say is about taking a child for trafficking and profit purposes and feeling under some kind of obligation to do that with a group of people. And they act very quickly then to take the child. It's impulsive. So I do believe that she was taken impulsively. And it could be by a male. Probably with that knight. They could be a very young acting or young mentally kind of or immature even, into their 30s, a young adult. Okay. We also then get the the 7 of Wands. So they're trying to defend themselves. There's a defensive aspect. And the Moon. I think they're trying to keep under the radar and keep this hidden, keep this covered up. You keep what they're doing covered up so no one suspects them. Because this was really like, it has been only recently that it's been brought back up. Yes, an adult male. I'm getting a male here, a leader, potentially father figure, but I don't believe it's hers. I'm feeling like I'm being shown hiding this child to keep them from authorities as well. That works out. And they're being directed to act quickly, also by somebody that is their boss. I get that with the Knight of Swords, and I get that with the Eight of Wands. So I do feel like she was trafficked. I don't get anything about death. I do see this as transactional and someone in desperate to make that money, to get this child and for this network of people, this ring of people. There is still hope. That she'll be recognized or get her name back. And it would be very, very public with the Star and the Six of Wands. Also, this child's high profile. Who are you going to get to, I guess, sell her to? And I don't know if this is just someone that's wanting, I feel like, a child to raise. So far, that's what I'm getting. I'm not getting a lot of other icky feelings. I mean, this is icky enough, but there's a lot of money involved here. They're looking for wealthy people that want children. Yes, that are having issues or are anxious and impulsive also, but careful. Some thought goes into it. They're not as impulsive as this guy grabbing a child. So I'm not getting anything here about death. I'm not getting like this child was taken for the purposes of doing something awful to and ending their life. I'm getting this child was taken as somebody felt like they were under pressure to take a child for turning it on that are wealthy. And there's a lot of money involved in this. I see a family, and there's a lot of emotion. I think that she actually could end up one day being identified very strongly. I'm kind of surprised. I'm not gonna lie. But the cards show kind of a sense of reunion, and there's a lot of emotion here. Um, and a sense of family and other and children. And I think that her mother and father will be, she'll find out who they are at some point. This is being offered for sale. And this is the disappointment and the loss. Because they had, I think, of the family and what they went through. Okay. I had to put this on pause. My husband had to come home and help me to change my wound dressing. So I'm going to use the Mystic Crime deck here. This is the new crime deck I picked up from Etsy. I'll put just a link to it in the description box. I shuffled off camera, and now I'm going to pull the cards, and I'm asking about the person that did this. Why did they do this? And you know, how is Sabrina now? So I probably will just be more focused, getting more focused cards on the person that's responsible. Just wanted to see a little bit more about them. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead. I get deals made. So again, it lends to the feeling of trafficking. some kind of a deal made, and it's paired with interviewed statements. Could this be that this person has been already interviewed, or will be, and will make a statement? It does say interviewed statement, deals made. So it's possible that they could have been spoken to in the past about this and managed to escape notice, perhaps, or concern. This is interesting. I know you. And stranger? It could be a way of saying, I know you, you're not a stranger. Or the family might know, or somebody close to the child might know, end up knowing the person that did this, that they are, I feel like, not a stranger. It could be, oh, okay. I get mental illness paired with trafficking child. So, wow. This person clearly has mental health issues, and I'm sure just disordered behavior, doing what they're doing. And they were involved, at least at that time, in trafficking children. Getting an energy that's male or feeling more masculine. Could just be the cards, but let's continue. Illegal activity. So there might also be other things that they're into that isn't legal. Creating certain chemicals that people use for escapism. Information facts. This person could also be somebody that is like what they call somebody a cooker. You know, they create drugs. And I doubt they're your friendly local chemist. But who knows? It does show once again that I feel like there's a sense that this person is like, I don't feel like the family necessarily knows them, but like more like acquaintance, more like outer periphery, like somebody that's been able to see the child and the family, and probably being that they think the way they think, they're seeing those with children as prey that they can take a child from for trafficking purposes, and they've got some mental issues. I do get SA. And I get protection, security. They might have had a security job. But I don't know that that's anything that happened to child. I don't know if this is saying that they protected the child from that kind of activity, or that they themselves have done this and may have worked security, like a security guard. Often security guards can be a little weird. Hmm. Hmm. This person that did this may not be alive anymore. I do get death endings and sexuality. I don't feel like this is for the child. I feel like this person that took her is no longer here. they had issues with their sexuality. They may have SA'd in the past. I don't think children were their thing, but I do think that uh, that it's possible that they could have done this later on. I have a feeling they were fairly young when they did this. All right. I'm getting bravery, lost. This person should have stood up. You know, they may have prided themselves in the past on being protective of people that were vulnerable, but I get that there was a loss. You know, they could have used their intimidation factor. They may have been also maybe kind of a bigger person, bigger build, and it just feels like they didn't fulfill what they could have. Like, you know, they caused loss. And maybe standing up to those that were pressuring them to get them a child or do whatever, they should have been brave and said, get lost to them, instead of causing someone loss of a child. Can't talk. Well, if you're no longer here, that's makes sense. And alcohol. So again, I sense that they used substances to numb themselves, and they were not a very happy person. Um, and got involved in this for probably for money making, because it did show in the other cards that there's a lot of money to be made. Now let's just use this deck and see what I get. Let me ask about baby Sabrina presently. How is baby Sabrina presently? Has she grown up? Is she safe? What is her life like? Let's focus on baby Sabrina. And if the crime deck that I'm using doesn't pick up anything that makes sense, I'm going to use my Rider Waite deck. So let's see. How is baby Sabrina now? How is Sabrina now? Where is she? Where is Sabrina now? Is she okay? I get copycat from. It makes me think of children that have been taken and found later, kind of a similar thing, some kind of similar, but whatever. Let's just keep going. Missing child. Leader of the pack. Jealousy affair. Hmm. I definitely feel like she was taken. And there could have been someone here that acts as a leader of a group of people that is the chain that does this, is the circle, the network. And I don't know what the jealousy or affair is. Could be jealous of it, of other people that have children. I don't. That's probably a reach. Not quite sure how that plays out. but I'm feeling like we're looking at from her eyes through at somebody that's responsible for this, and probably also other missing children, since we have copycat crime and missing child. This is a regular ring. She herself may be jealous. I'm not sure. Anyway, I get poison. That's toxicity. And can't see. It could be that she remains under the influence, under the toxic influence of a very controlling leader of this kind of a group. And she may not realize her fully her position, or she can't or won't, isn't ready yet to see this truth about herself. But I think she knows that there's something toxic here, highly toxic. I just feel like there's this male here that's very possessive of her. And that she's not alone, in that this has happened to other children. They've done this to other children. I have something of yours. The blanket. And there's shift changes. There's going to be some kind of change in her life. I don't know. Did somebody keep that blanket? Is that still in her possession? Has it been thrown out? Because I kind of get the vibe that these are the kind of people that would throw it away. Although the person did initially take the blanket. I have a feeling that would have ended probably somewhere else, but you never know. But there's some kind of shift coming where I have something of yours. Maybe it's being aware that she has family. I don't know. I get sexuality. Weird. I get dogs. Wound left. Wound left your make. That doesn't even make sense. Whoever made these cards, wound left your make? What? I think it should be saying you've left a wound. You've made a wound that's still here. Could be that there are also that this person has dogs. I feel like this leader, I feel like they're probably involved in a sexual ring as well. I mean, that could have changed. That could be also part of what they do. Wouldn't surprise me. I think she's still kind of around these people to some degree, or they've got a link on her. I think she was turned over to a leader, but I think the person that initially was the gopher that took her, so to speak, I don't think they're alive, just to make that clear. Kidnapping, taken, help, stalking. I believe, like I said before, that her family was stalked and her. I feel like somebody was looking for a child to take, and I hate to say it, but I feel like that person saw the other children, thought they have other kids. We'll just take this one. And I think somebody took her out of desperation in trying to give her to this ring. Maybe this person owed this ring money or something. Now I'm getting my choice, something left behind. I get this feeling that she knows that she's been taken. She may not know whose family she belongs to. Maybe she does. She may be very, very controlled in like you can't view social media, TV, that kind of thing, or you can only look at this. I feel like there may be dogs this person has to protect their grounds. I feel like there's a lot of money here, so I feel like there's an older male that is behind this ring. And I feel like he's yet there, that he hasn't passed. And I don't know if they ever did sell her off to a family or if they kept her. I kind of feel like she was kept by the leader here. But I sense with the my choice, something left behind, and then I have something of yours. I feel like it's possible she's going to at some point put together the pieces about who she is or who she might be. She might decide to try and figure that out on the run. And truth. I do. Okay, that makes sense. I think she will be looking for the truth. I still don't get anything about her passing. I hope that that's right. I was right about that young lady that went missing for a long time. And they just found her not too long ago in the last few years, but she was wanting to stay with the person, the male that she ran off with at a very young age. So a lot of people thought she was deceased probably too, but she wasn't. And I got cards, similar kinds of cards here. I get my hands and facts information. Is that something to do with like fingerprints or prints? It feels like she's going to be trying to find out who she is. Sun, yes card to that. And closer look at suspect. So if she hadn't put it together, I think she's already done that, but I think she's going to be looking at the person that's responsible, that's alive, that's keeping her under control, and looking how to get free. She has a real thirst, I think, to know who she is and senses that she's someone that's been taken. Again, the Emperor. So I think this is an older man now, looking at the father or a father-like figure, and more, yeah, okay, this is more than one involved. I think she's going to realize, I don't know that this would be her father. I really doubt it. I think it's likely that this is somebody completely different and a ring that's involved in a ring and involved in that kind of criminality. But she's got to try to escape the clutches of and the control of that ring, because it looks like they still have control. It will be case closed and solved at some point. And I get the tree. I think this takes time. I'm just thinking about how a tree gets tall. It takes many, many years. And it might take her many years, but she might come out from the woodwork one day and say, I think I'm Sabrina. Also, tree is DNA. So they might use that and close that case. So I have a very strong feeling that we may yet see this case be solved. Okay. Just making sure I'm not turning these all upside down. Right. We get accident. Wrong way. Sounds like someone going down a wrong way street or going in something the wrong way. Accident. Wrong way. Assault, SA. Terror. I just think that this is the energy around the people responsible. Attack. They're not a joke. And again, a dog. Like, do they have attack dogs or something? Wouldn't surprise me. And I get meet up. Spotlight. I think she's going to get away. And I think this is going to be a breaking story. Ticking clock deadlines. And I think that time is approaching. And there's also trafficking of drugs going on. Maybe they have that involved. Hopefully they don't make her do those kinds of things, but it's possible. Just, she's got to do it to survive. You're getting alcohol again. Train tracks. An end of a situation. Movement. I think there will be movement with this case. I do think it will get solved. I think she was taken. I think she's been forced to do some things in trafficking, criminality that maybe she's not too happy about. I do think the initial person that took her is deceased. I think the one that received her and the one that makes all the money is a male figure that will be exposed. So I guess that's really going to leave it right there. If you appreciate readings like this, please give me a thumbs up. This has been a request from a subscriber. Thank you so much for giving my channel a thumbs up. And please continue to do so. YouTube keeps trimming down my subscribers every day. They're just doing that again. Whatever. All right. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next video or live.